A novel species of gargantuan predatory salamander was recently discovered in an underground body of water in the Devil's Hole cave system. As an adult, the average length of this creature from nose to tip of the tail is around 12 feet or 3.65 meters. This is roughly the same size as the American alligator. This salamander was first discovered by an investigator of the Devil's Hole, sent by the company in charge of monitoring the cave's activity, Lucicorp. This salamander, hereby dubbed the Slime Dragon, was first documented when an explorer of the cave set up motion-activated flash cameras in and around one of the subterranean rivers. The first image that was delivered back to Lucicorp HQ was the face of the Slime Dragon. The second was the creature generously demonstrating its feeding habits on the explorer in question. Evidently, the investigator explored the bowels of the cave before exploring the bowels of the salamander. This animal is closely related to the pet store variety axolotl, and its physiology is incredibly similar despite a few key differences. One of these key differences is that it's fucking giant. Another key difference is that this creature is completely blind, and its eyes have become vestigial over thousands of years of not being used in the pitch-black environment of the cave. Now they just got the same milky white eyes as your friend's really old dog that they insist is still breathing, but you're not so sure. Instead of hunting using its eyesight, this animal detects prey using the movements of the water currents, similar to many crocodilians. If one is in the same water as a slime dragon, it would help to keep as still as possible, as any ripples you create in the water will lead it straight to you. It's like a deadly game of Marco Polo! The creature has incredibly sensitive skin that it partially breathes through, but this same sensitivity helps the slime dragon locate its prey with great efficiency. All without needing eyeballs. While this sensitive skin is not very protective and can be easily damaged, this is counterbalanced because another trait that the animal shares with the axolotl is the ability to regrow entire limbs and sections of their body or skin. The Devil's Hole slime dragon has also developed electromagnetic sensors on its lower jaw to help it detect the electric biosignatures left in the environment by living animals, making it all the more effective at hunting. All without the use of sight. Alright, now you're rubbing it in. As a child, this creature is quite similar to a regular axolotl. It's actually indistinguishable from regular ones, save for the fact that it has developed sharp teeth and a much more advanced predation strategy. As a baby, it's the size of an adult regular axolotl, and as it grows, it feeds on larger and larger prey. Another key difference between this giant man-eating axolotl and a regular one is what happens when it goes through puberty. While most amphibians eventually metamorphose, trade their gills for lungs, and move out of the fully aquatic lifestyle, this is not the case for axolotls. They instead retain the gills and stay entirely aquatic in a condition known as paedomorphism. Ew. Hashtag axolotl is over party. This is not the case for the Devil's Hole slime dragon because it likes consenting adults, like people who don't get stabbed to death in prison. And while it does retain its gills and the ability to breathe water, it will also grow lungs like in most other amphibian metamorphosis, allowing it to easily traverse land and water. Once Lucicorp was made aware of the slime dragon's existence, they sent a team of biologists into the cave in attempts to capture one of the babies. For once, this went off without a hitch, and the biologists returned shortly after, strangely with no note of anomalous interference whatsoever. The team did note that they found a small pool of water completely filled to the brim with baby slime dragons. Almost immediately. They didn't even have to look. It was the first thing they saw dead center of the first cavern. That's not suspicious. Strangely enough, the small pool wasn't being fed by any other larger body of water. It was just there, in isolation. The team gathered 15 of the babies and brought them back to headquarters for study. Because the slime dragons are completely blind, they adapted quite well to captivity. The animals didn't have any obvious anomalous features, and to all external measures, seemed to be just a larger, more dangerous cousin to the axolotl. It's entirely possible that this creature evolved from its smaller, benign pet store cousin, whether it be related to the anomalous cave or not. Noting that these creatures could be contained and cared for just about as easily as alligators, Lucicorp decided to keep them on display in attempts to show the public that they totally had a safe level of control over the anomalies related to the cave, and should be trusted to put a Disneyland-style resort inside of the literal pit of hell. If dragging a big slimy cum-covered lizard out of the ground doesn't show they got this handled, what will? Obvious foreshadowing is obvious. Did you know that axolotls are illegal to own in the state where I live, which makes me want one so much more now? Anyways, if you like this video, you should like, comment, and subscribe with all notifications enabled, or I'll feed you to the axolotl gator. I want to thank Dead Rex for drawing these spooky critters. Shout out the inner circle. Love y'all.